I would go ahead and take the additional amount of vitamin A, and if you're formula feeding, you can give baby like a 2,500 IU vitamin A dosage. And I know doctors kind of panic about vitamin A, but it can take a year with high amounts of vitamin A before you would ever see anything that would be a problem. Infant vitamins, and I have more doctors saying to my customers, formula-fed babies, they don't need a vitamin. I disagree strongly with that based upon the research, because most infant formulas do not have adequate amounts of Bs or adequate amounts of zinc, A, E, or C. They just don't. So most of the vitamins are geared towards those particular elements, and there's infant drops that are wonderful. They can give baby, that can help not just provide nutrition from overall health standpoint, but from a diaper rash as well. Last but not least, the probiotic acidophilus. They give baby the good bacteria in order to fight off the yeast and bacterial infections. Once again, when they get infected, they're going to be in pain, they're going to burn, and it's going to take you a while to get it gone. If mom takes a probiotic also, it comes through the breast milk, and we give baby good bacteria. Obviously, if baby's on antibiotics, we always want to do the probiotic. I hope this is helpful. If you need a copy of this, you can get it at any of the vitamin and herb stores in Lompoc, Buellton, Napomo, and Santa Maria. Next, we're going to be moving on to a special section on airbrushing. Thank you. On our last show, we talked a little bit about detoxification regarding food. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about dry brushing, not air brushing. I was hoping you might catch that little joke. Anyway, dry brushing has been used for centuries in other cultures, and there are lots of things or ways that you can do it, but standardly there are brushes this size or with a long handle. And what it does basically is you're exfoliating the skin and moving along, and this is what it's good for: cellulite, lymphatic system, your immune system, detoxification. Oh my gosh, the list goes on. Some of the studies have shown that if you do this for 30 days, your skin can look anywhere from 5 to 15 years younger. So this is definitely something in which you can get your body to detoxify and aid and abet the beauty process as well. Now, in order to properly dry brush, you have to know how to do it. Number one, you always work towards the heart. You never work away from the heart, because literally that can affect the valves and how the blood pressure works. So you always start at the local extremities, and hopefully you're in a shower when you're doing this, 5 to 15 minutes. And what you're going to do is you're going to brush in upward motions, upward, all over your body, till you reach the abdominal area, circular motion, your back area, circular motion, the neck area in a downward motion, ending with your arms. And you're going to try and brush all of the skin tissues. Now, mind you now, every 24 hours, the top layer of your skin replicates itself. So if you're not exfoliating the skin, and that's why I think guys look so much younger as they grow older, because they're always shaving and exfoliating their skin. If you do this on your skin, their circulation and the youthing aspects and detoxification, it'll help. Next, we're going to be moving on to the research portion of our show. Thank you. Hi, welcome to the research portion of our show, and with us today is Ralph Turchiano.
Thank you for the intro. Well, later on, find out how you can add 240 sweet calories a day to your diet and still lose weight, in addition to dramatically lowering your cholesterol. Well, to start, remember the blood type books or the blood type diets? Well, now there may be a new innovation to that has nothing to do with blood type. Well, this came out of the University of Brussels, actually the Vrije University of Brussels. It's called microbiota, or basically your probiotics, your natural acidophilus. They discovered there are 3 different microbiota types. They basically fall into three categories called bacteroides, Prevotella, Ruminococcus. That each person or different people are predominant in different types of those bacteria. Because supposedly, even though you have 100 billion bacteria in your gut, there are very few stable colonies, and it's either one of those three. The interesting part about it is this. For example, those people that are high in bacteroides group have more gut bacteria that produce vitamin C, actually produce vitamin C, B2, B5, and biotin. The Prevotella group, for example, showed higher numbers of B1 and also folic acid producing flora, which is something interesting. Again, it's preliminary, but they are different. They are beginning to discover that we each have a different probiotic type in our body. Now, one of my things I like to blow the roof off for the longest period of time, because none of the studies validated it, was the testosterone myth in regards to prostate cancer. Years and years and years, thousands, if not millions of men are being chemically castrated necessarily because of the myth that testosterone is somehow related to prostate cancer. Does not mean hormones aren't, but as far as testosterone is concerned, it was always a consumption. I get to watch men go through years of suffering and demasculization based upon folklore. Now, basically, this came out of the Journal of Urology. Because for many decades, it had been believed that a history of prostate cancer, even if treated and cured, was an absolute contraindication to testosterone therapy, meaning reducing it, due to the belief that testosterone activated prostate cancer growth. Remember a couple of years ago when we said you had testosterone to a test tube, but actually killed the prostate cancer cells? Well, get ready. And it could potentially cause dormant cancer cells to grow rapidly, the researchers said. Well, they did a study where they studied based a small group of men. The men received testosterone therapy while undergoing active surveillance for prostate cancer for a median of 2.5 years. The average age was about 58, 59. They had Gleason scores as 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10 meaning usually aggressive. The mean testosterone levels of the group rose from 238 nanograms a deciliter to 664 nanograms a deciliter. And basically neither the PSA nor the prostate volume changed. In fact, here's the kicker. Follow-up biopsies of the prostate were performed in all men at approximately yearly intervals, and none developed cancer progression. In fact, 54% of the follow-up biopsies revealed no cancer at all. Makes you really begin to wonder. Clearly, the traditional belief that higher testosterone necessarily leads to rapid prostate growth is incorrect, said the researchers. They also said an earlier study from Margartella commented on an Italian study that showed that low levels of testosterone were actually associated with aggressive prostate cancer. Basically, they said that during conventional wisdom upside down, low serum testosterone and high-risk prostate cancer, the Dr. Morgenthaler wrote, after 7 decades of circumstantial evidence pointing us in the wrong direction, perhaps it is time to consider the once unthinkable. Something to think about now. Next time you go to a doctor and he's still trying to chemically castrate you. Now, to low carbohydrate diets. Interesting, and this was published in the current issue of the Public Library of Science Online. What they discovered is low carbohydrate diets actually reversed kidney failure. Now remember, it's reversed in mice. Half the mice were put on a ketogenic diet, while a control group maintained a standard high carbohydrate diet. The researchers found that after 8 weeks, kidney failure was reversed in the mice on the ketogenic diet. So our study is the first to show that dietary intervention is alone to reverse the serious complications of diabetics. Basically, remember ketogenic diet was also shown to stop seizures and things like that, and also ketogenic diet was recently also shown to reduce the fatty liver, much better than the low carbohydrate diet. Dr. Mobe's research indicates the exposure to the diet for as little as a month, 1 month, may be sufficient to reset the gene expression in the pathological process leading to kidney failure. He believes the ketogenic diet can also help treat other neurological diseases and retinopathy, a disease obviously that results in vision loss. Something very, very interesting to consider, especially those with diabetics. Back to the swine flu, which doesn't seem to go away. Well, recently in Europe, the swine flu has been directly associated in duplicated studies, one in Sweden and one in Finland, basically to increase risk of narcolepsy. The Swedish study resulted in a 4-fold increase in narcolepsy. The Finnish study resulted in a 9-fold increase in narcolepsy. Basically, and it's so bad that they have to actually put it as a warning on the swine flu jab itself. Something to think about in regards to basically that vaccination. It's been pushed too fast, not enough studies, and I'm sure more is going to come out in regards to it. So something to really consider the World Health Organization really basically fabricated the pandemic and cost millions, if not billions of dollars internationally and globally. Something really solid to consider, and especially in light of this. Let's look at Paul Thorson. Who is Paul Thorson? Well, another vaccine. Well, this time it came to thimerosal, the link between thimerosal and autism. Well, he also conducted the studies for the CDC, and I'm surprised this is not in the news, because Paul Thorson, researcher, I should say, on April 13th, remember the main doctor who said there was no relationship between mercury and vaccines and autism, was recently indicted on 13 counts of fraud and 9 counts of money laundering. The charges were all related to the funding for the work he did for the Centers for Disease Control, showing that there was no relationship between thimerosal and the vaccine. Did this mean Paul Thorson's work was somehow just basically corrupted by it? Yes, more than just corrupted. It was directly corrupted. He even admitted in his emails, saying basically in internal emails obtained by the Freedom of Information Act, documented discussions between Danish researchers and Thorson, which acknowledged the studies did not include the latest data from 2001, when they took the mercury out of the vaccines, where the incidence and prevalence of autism was declining, which would have been supportive of the vaccine connection. The emails also include the request from Thorson to the CDC asking that the agency write letters to the pediatric journals encouraging them to publish the falsified research that other more standard, credible journals rejected because they saw that the studies was excluding certain groups of older kids. The top CDC officials complied with the request, sending a letter to the editor of the Journal of Pediatrics supporting the publication of the study, what's called a strong piece of evidence that thimerosal is not linked to autism. This guy should be indicted in more than just 13 counts of fraud or 9 counts of money laundering. Anybody makes a vaccine and falsifies research to a vaccine that's forced upon the public or the most vulnerable parts of our society, it should be manslaughter, assault and battery, or something with a little bit more weight, besides some guy going in some house or a slap on the wrist later on in his life, especially when it comes to children. And now, back to that basically how to lose weight. Well, guess what? It's an apple. An apple a day over an entire year resulted in 3 pounds lost. But what's more amazing is an apple a day resulted in a 23% decrease in LDL. This was a double-blind crossover placebo studies where one group ate prunes, the other group ate dried apples, the equivalent to 1 apple a day. Not only that, it increased HDL cholesterol 4%. Thank you very much for that.
Wow, thank you very much, Ralph. We appreciate it. Once again, do your research for yourself on the subject matter that we talk about and everything else that's out there. Question, look after your own health. Thank you very much.